like number 10 with the 3 letters, and it says to find angle JMK. If we are trying to find angle JMK, that means going from J to M to K. That means we are trying to find this angle. First thing, we knew this was 39 degrees, and we knew this one was at 22. 30. Okay? And as we look at that picture, what we do know from our picture is that these 2 lines are parallel. Okay? And that is our transversal. Which means when we are taking a look at ours, one of the things we know is that we have corresponding angles. So if this angle is 39, what do we know, Manny? Is it 72?
Yeah,
72. Okay? So if this angle is 39, right here, what do we know about this angle over here? So if I have this angle being 39, what do I know about this angle? 39. Has to be 39, because what kind of angles are they?
External.
They correspond. Okay? So this one is because it's a corresponding angle. Okay? Now if that corresponds, the other thing I know is that some people found this angle over here. How many degrees in this angle over here? 141. And the reason I know 141 degrees is because these 2 angles are supplementary, right? Now, what I know about all 3 of these is that they have to be supplementary, or I know this angle right here, which I might call x plus 72. X plus 72 has to be equal to 141. I had some people solve it that way. I had some people add 42 and or 72 and 39. If we add 72 plus 39, we're going to end up with how much? 100 and how much? 111. If we add 39 and 72. And so if I'm looking at that, I now know if I add 111 plus x, it has to equal x plus 111 has to equal 180. All 3 of those. So there's many ways of finding it, right? When you are looking at that. Any other questions besides 10?
So if I get to do
You just got to find that missing one. And then it says, explain how you got it. So you would say it corresponds, and then these 3 angles total to 180, something along that line. All right. So in your homework, if you did not check those answers in the back, I do want to just be aware that you are looking at those, and especially when you get to number 10 and 11 and 14, where they give you those reasons behind, make sure you're looking at the reasons as you look at those, okay? So today we're going to look at, in our homework, as we look at finding these missing ones. So if we are finding the missing angle, one of the things you're often going to see is it'll say the picture is maybe not drawn to scale. So you got to be really careful. So in this case, we do have these 2 parallel lines. So when we have parallel lines, this angle here and this angle down at C, right here, okay, they are what kind of angles in between our 2 parallel lines? This is interior. So our 28, and this is my transversal. So if I look at that line, right, anytime I'm looking at this line, this is the transversal, okay? It cuts through the 2 parallel lines. And then I need to make sure I understand all those angles. And I am in the process of putting up a Quizlet that we're going to take a look at probably after lunch. But when we look at that, 28 and this angle, so these 2 angles are going to be congruent. They are alternate interior angles. So please put 28 degrees. And the reason is this is an alternate interior to angle 28 at B. Okay? Now, what's nice about knowing these 2 angles on the inside is I'm asked to find this exterior angle. And anytime I have an exterior angle of a triangle, I know that x is equal to the sum of the 2 interior angles. So 28 degrees plus 42 degrees. So 28 plus 42, if we're adding those two together, we should have that angle is going to be 70 degrees. Make sure you wrote all of this down. Jane, you write that? Okay. So we have 70 degrees for angle X, as we are taking a look at that. As you take a look at the next page, so it says, for each angle pair, determine the kind of angles that they are, and are they congruent? So we look at 1 and 3. 1 and 3 are what kind of angles? Supplementary, which means, are they congruent? No. Supplementary, not congruent. Please write that down. Now you're going to take a look at 4 and 5. 4 and 5. And again, sometimes I think it helps if you highlight or take a look. This line is considered our transversal, and the two lines are parallel. So when we look at this, this is our parallel line as we look at these two. Okay. So 4 and 5 happen to be what?
Same side.
They are not same side. Look at the yellow line. They are alternate interior, which means they will be congruent. Okay? If we look at 6 and 7, 6 and 7 from going back last week, 6 and 7 are vertical, which means congruent. 2 and 7, I can already see they are on opposite sides of that yellow line, and they are in the exterior, so they are alternate exterior, which means they are congruent. I'm now looking at 4 and 8. How as I look at 4 and 8, will they be the same measure? Will they? Yes. And do you know the name? Corresponding. They will be congruent. They are corresponding. When I look at 3 and 5, Gunnar, what do I know about 3 and 5?
Same side.
Same side interior. Will they be congruent?
No.
No. They will be supplementary, right? Those two will add to 180. Same side interior will add to 180. They're supplementary. So now I'm looking at 2 and 8. 2 and 8. As I look at those ones, Haley. Same side or alternating of our transversal. 2 and 8. This yellow line, or they have opposite sides of the yellow line. They're the same side, and they are not congruent. They are the same side exterior, not interior. Okay. So practicing those names. Some years I've had students make up flashcards. Like I said, I'm in the process of putting my Quizlet up with those. As you take a look now, we are going to be finding the missing angle. Okay. Some of them are easier than others. First up, in this picture, I know that 75 and angle 1 correspond, which means 1 and 75 have to be the same, congruent. So, if I know that that one is 75, 1 and 2 together are same side interior, or I know 75 and 2 are supplementary, which means it has to be 105. Take a look at the next picture. What do I know about angle 1 with the 120? 120 is the same as the measure of angle 1. They are corresponding. Corresponding, just like angle 1 was here. And then 1 and 2 together have to be supplementary, which means it must total to 60 degrees. Taking a look at that next picture. 1 and this 80-degree angle. Those are same side interior, which means they have to total to 180. So angle 1 has to be 100. Because someone said, yeah, but I don't see the two lines. If you extend this as a parallel line, and you extend this one, this is the transversal. So those two are same side interior, and they will total to 180 when we look at that. So once I know that, these two are what kind of angles? Alternate interior. So this is, again, the transversal going along here, and these are my parallel lines, so angle 2 must be 70. Okay? The reason angle 2 is 70 is these two are alternate interior. So what I want you to do is, as you look at the picture down below, I want you to take a look at what should our degrees be as we are looking at each one. I want you to try it first, and then we will take it.
Same thing as 82 because why, kind? It corresponds. So we want angle 1 to also be 82.
And then if we look at angle 2. Angle 2 is up here. What do we know about these two angles? Angle 2. Emily, what do we know about angle 2 in the picture? In relation to this angle down here that's 58. So I'm looking at these two. Do you remember? Chase,
It's corresponding to one below it.
it is not corresponding to the one below.
Oh.
What do we know about which other angle happens to be 58? 2.
Hey.
Oh, so S has to be 58, right, down here. And so if this angle down here is 58, that means this angle here is 58, which then, what do we know about these two? They are supplementary, which means if I'm looking at the angle measure, they are not congruent. They have to add to 180. So 180 subtract 58 gives us 122. Right?
Wait, so wouldn't
Because
A and 58 be corresponding?
A and 58 would have been corresponding, so you could have had 58 up here also, or you could have had it down here. So when you look at those, sometimes you might have to find other angles in order to get to the one that you're looking at. Okay? So as we take a look at this last picture on this page before we go on, angle 1 and 76 are what kind of angles? 1 and 76. Here is the transversal. These two lines are parallel. Are they on the same side of the transversal? Alternating then. Alternating what? Interior, which means they must be equal in measure, and it must be 76. When I look at angle 2 with 119, what do I know about these two angles? They are on the same side. If we think of this transversal, which means they have to total to 180. It has to be 61. Okay? How do we know it's 61 when we are taking a look at our angle? The main reason is that we are taking 180 and we are subtracting 119 because these two will be supplementary, same side interior. This last picture, you are asked to find the angles and explain. So behind is where we're going to put our explanation. So first off, this is telling us that we have an angle that's 90, and this is 90, and this one is 61. So what do I know about angle 1? Angle 1 has to be how many degrees? What do we know about all three angles in a triangle? Come to 180. So, in order to find this angle, if this one is already 90, I really could be taking, to find the measure of angle 1, I can take 90 and subtract 61, right? So if I take 90 and subtract 61, I am looking at 39 degrees, right? 29.
Oh.
29, not 30. So if I get 29, the reason is that we have to give would be because all three angles in a triangle sum to 3 angles in a triangle. So please make sure you're writing down this definition part or the reason part. 3 angles sum to equal 180 degrees. So when I take a look at measure of angle 2, what do I know? This is my parallel line. It's marked up here. These two angles are what? They could be complementary. So what do I know about angle 2? Angle 2 has to be, well, I could know it has to be 61. But the other thing, so besides being complementary to angle 1, so I could take that, complementary,
What is that?
61 degrees. Complementary to angle 1. But the other thing I know is that angle 2 is also what to this angle down here that's 61? Angle 2
is alternate interior to the 61-degree angle down below here. This one and this one, those are alternate interior. That's the other reason it could be equal. So now we want to look at angle 3. We've just found this, and my hint would be as you're doing yours in your homework, put down the numbers. So 29, 61. What does angle 3 have to be? Angle 3 should be 23. This is another triangle, right? So when you're looking at pictures, you got another triangle, right? This is our triangle right here. If we have 61, this one must be 29. So we're looking at it being 29, and the main reason it's going to be 29 is, again, 3 angles in a triangle must equal 180 degrees. You have 90, you have 61, which means angle 4 has to be 61. 4 has to be 61. What does 5 have to be? Look where 5 is.
Oh.
Back to the 61-degree angle for angle 4. You could say it is complementary to angle 3, which meant it had to sum to 90. The 91, that would be if we are looking in a triangle again. Here you could have said angle 6. All 3 of these had to sum to 180. So for angle 6 being 29 degrees, 3 angles along a straight line have to equal 180. The key thing that you are going to see is that in tonight's homework, I'm going to be asking you to explain a lot more. I just want you, before you close your notes, to just quickly take a look. Yeah, we did 5 was 90. Oh, the reason?
Yeah.
If we are looking at 5 being a right angle, we could say that it is same side interior. Okay, so you could go same side interior. You could have also said that these two have to be complementary, or same side exterior have to be that supplementary, or totaling to 90 or to 180. So I'd like you right